Shalom. I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rukakodash, the bonds to the elders of Great Millstone. Much love and respect to you brothers out there doing the work of sincerity and truth, striving for the hopeful elect, enduring all afflictions, and seeking out your own salvation with fear and trembling. I was coming back with another video. I want to go into uh, a legend of the hummingbird regarding the Incas, all right, over there in South America, Central South America. Um, what inspired me to do this, what inspired me to do this video was going back to the summer, man. You know, it was back in maybe July, August. Um, yeah, I had seen a hummingbird, and the hummingbird when I seen it, because you don't really see the hummingbirds too much. They're it's rare if you get to see one. You know, it's so much changes have gone on throughout the time and the cities and towns. They've been, infiltrated with a bunch of construction and the destruction of the wilderness and stuff like that, pollution. So the hummingbirds they fled. You know, they're out away from the city because once before, once upon a time, a city was actually full of just wilderness. You know, trees, you know, all types of different vegetation, and this was the habitation of these particular creatures and animals. And now they've been pushed out, right, or hunted, destroyed, killed. Well, like I said, I seen one. And anytime you see one, I don't. For me, I get happy. It makes me happy. I'm excited. So during that time, I was just feeling and going through a lot of things. I seen it, and it basically encouraged me. So I did a little bit of research, back in that time, and I came across this story, a legend regarding the hummingbird of the Inca people, and I was planning on making the video, which I never did, but now the spirit has me doing it now. And really, I was going through the YouTube channel and I seen a brother's thumbnail and he had a hummingbird on there, and I was like, now's the time to jump on this subject that I wanted to do regarding it. Um, I don't think that brother. I listened to the brother's video. I don't think he really got into the hummingbird. Um, but you know, it was all through the spirit. So now I'm here to make the video. So as I stated, it's gonna, be the story, the legend of the hummingbird regarding the Inca people. I have here the hummingbird.spot.com. You can read it for yourself, the different stories, the legends that the indigenous people of this side of the Americas all had towards the hummingbird, and it's all positive. So like I said, you can read it yourself, Central South American legends. But the one that most, like I said, intrigued me regarding the hummingbird was the Incas. Um, because when you go into the whole hummingbird, you look at you know, it's all positive. There's nothing negative regarding hummingbird, you know. But the hummingbird is basically it's from this part of the region of the earth. There's I think over like 300 species of the hummingbird. Um, so I just want to get into it. I'm gonna pull out some scriptures and it's gonna go into what I'm referring to as far as dealing with the spirit, the scriptures, and things of that nature. So I'm gonna start with this story. It says the Inca believed that the hummingbird was a messenger from heaven, and the word Inca believes like it means to be a king or lord. It says that the condor, which has the position of king of the skies, conceded its status as the primary spiritual messenger of the upper world to the hummingbird. So the condor, is big in stature, flies high in the sky. It's like the bald eagle. Then you have the condor that does the same thing, flies high in the sky, soars high in the sky, and is looked at and to be revered as a great bird, right? But nobody looks at something that's small. They think it's small. Oh, it's nothing. It's going to be destroyed. It's weak, But that's the thing that it's just like going into the story of David and Goliath. That's how Goliath looked at David. People that were there witnessing, they saw David as being that weak one. Oh, this man, he's going to get slaughtered by Goliath. But, you know, hold and behold, that King David, David as a young man, he overcame that giant, man. That man that was of great stature, physically great of stature, and also great and as far as being renowned as a mighty man of war. So King David cast him down and took the victory, right? And nobody expected that. When you go into the story, the account of King David, he was likened unto a flea, so a flea is a small thing, but King David was able to maneuver and to get away from the hands of Saul that was pursuing his life, to destroy him. But he was able to bounce around, jump around, and maneuver by the Spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, making him small, in that sense to maneuver, to get through certain things, to get away from certain things, to outsmart Saul and his army. Okay. Um. Real quick, let me get this one script here. You know what? Nah, hold up. There's another one that came to my mind. Let me bring this one out. Salakia. Uh, Let me pull it. I wasn't expecting to bring this one, but I believe it has something to do with what I'm saying. Yeah, this is Sirach 11:1. Wisdom lifteth up the head of him that is of low degree, and maketh him to sit among great men. Commend not a man of his beauty, neither abhor a man of his outward appearance. See, because everybody looks to the physical, the stature, the appearance, and nobody cares about the hidden things, the small details, the nuances of an individual. The things that are silent but have a lot of power, a lot of weight, and it doesn't take much to see and witness that, to feel that. Just like a hummingbird, as small as it is, just to witness a hummingbird flying and feeding itself brings joy into your mind, which it should. If it don't, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with you, but you know, not everybody cares about animals, loves animals, and not happy to see animals and creatures and things like that. But I am, you know what I'm saying? So that's what happened with me. And the same thing when I was introduced and I was shown the scriptures and wisdom, knowledge, and understanding was given unto me. It was the same feeling, man. The mind, the dopamine of my mind was ignited. There was something that happened in my brain that I never felt before. So it's like that, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at those small things. So it says, first Sirach 11:3, the bee is little among such as fly. So, and if you do your research, you'll see that there's a hummingbird called that, a bee, hummingbird bee, bee, like the bumblebee, but it's a hummingbird that is called the bee, and it's small. It's the smallest hummingbird. Okay, and their eggs are smaller than jelly beans, man. They're small little eggs that they have. So it says, Sirach 11:3, the bee is little among such as fly, but her fruit is a chief of sweet things, which we know right here is referring to the bumblebee. But also the hummingbird, what is its fruit? Its fruit is honey. So it's a treasure even unto a hummingbird. Okay, just like a bumblebee, its fruit that it produces is um honey, the honeycomb, right, which is full of benefits. Is used for, as a sweetener, medicinal. Okay, so it says the bee is little among such as fly, but her fruit is the chief of sweet things. You see, so I'm gonna stop right there. So I'm gonna continue on. It says the condor, or let me start at the top. The Inca believed that the hummingbird was a messenger from heaven. The condor, which was the position of the king of the skies, conceded its status as a primary spiritual messenger of the upper world to be the hummingbird. So it was um the hummingbird was beneath, the condor. It says the hummingbird is seen as the key to the next stage of development of human consciousness. Incan legend tells that there was a contest between the condor and the hummingbird to see who would be king. The condor said he could fly to the edge of the sky, and the hummingbird said he could fly beyond the edge to the center of heaven. So the condor spoke and be like, man, I can get to the edge of the sky, right? But then the hummingbird was like, well, I can go further than that. I can go to the, what did it say? To the edge, to the center of heaven. I could, he said, I could fly beyond the edge to the center of heaven. And who's the only one that can be in the seat of the Most High? And Yahweh Shai. I mean, Yahweh Shai is the only one can be there sitting on the right hand side. That's the center of heaven. They're the center. You know, everything revolves around Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so the Holy Spirit, they're one, right? You got the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit resides in both of them. Okay, it says it says so that in itself, the story is spiritual, because in reality, the hummingbird cannot go that far away. It can't go so high into the heavens like the condor. Okay, so it's spiritual. There's a greater and a spiritual meaning to this story, to how the people in the ancient times looked and saw this, the hummingbird as. It says, when it came time for the contest, the hummingbird didn't show up. And this is what, when I first read this story, man, back, like I said, last year in the summertime, I was in awe, because it's all the spirit. You know how the spirit is so the Holy Spirit is quick and it's swift, and it's not just always like easy. It's not easy to find. It's not easy to understand. It's not easy to manipulate or get across. The Spirit can is so quick. It could do that to you. It does all that stuff too, not maliciously, but because if you ain't on your wits, you ain't paying attention, you ain't circumspect, you're not involved, you're not in tune, you're not in line, you're not gonna see these things. That's why a lot of people in the earth, they can't see the things that are going on in the earth. Now they are, but even before the stuff started popping off as fast as it's going right now, right? The people couldn't really see. They're just all stuck in the world. Now people are looking and starting to see and starting to question, starting to make comments and act like they're all knowledgeable in the scriptures. Everybody has something to say now. Everybody has something to say. It's taking knowledge from certain platforms on media and taking it as their own, and not giving any type of recognition or honor to those that have gave that to them, who they learned it from. Okay, but it's just it's crazy how this let me keep reading. It says, when it came time for the contest, the hummingbird didn't show up. So the hummingbird didn't show up, right? The condor took off and flew to the edge of the sky, at which point the hummingbird emerged from the condor's feathers and flew beyond the center of the upper world, where he met Rawak uh Wairaka, the metaphysical god of the Andes. So when I read that, I was like, damn, man, the hummingbird outsmarted the condor. The hummingbird snuck in, because the hummingbird's small, stuck into in between the feathers, and let the hummingbird take that long journey into the high skies, going through the currents of the wind and everything, to reach to a certain point, and then boom, the hummingbird took offline. You know what I'm saying? That when I read that, man, it had me smiling and laughing, how beautiful the story was, this legend, and how great the people, the indigenous people of this land, which are Hebrew Israelites, um, saw this small creature, man, and how much power. Because the people of old, they had deep knowledge, heavy knowledge, man. These people didn't have the shit that we have nowadays: television, social media, all the problems that we got going on right now. They were more in tuned than we are right now. Okay, so um yeah, when I had witnessed that hummingbird, when I was out the park walking and running and stuff like that, you know, um, it brought joy to me. So I started doing research on the hummingbird at that time, going into scriptures, which I wasn't able to get around to do the video, but the Spirit has me doing it now. And like I said, I read this story. You got the Mayan, you got you know the Aztecs legend, the Mayan legend, the Native American Indian legend. So, but this one stuck out to me the most. All right. Um, the Incas, matter of fact, Incas are in Peru, and right here it says the hummingbird geoglyph Nazca, Peru, and it has a big giant hummingbird you can see right there in the center of the screen, um, which they highly revered. You know, they saw that as being something of great uh, meaning to them. And even here in America, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, you know, grandparents tell me that the hummingbirds were special, and you could just feel, you just know that the hummingbird is different from everything else. When you look up the characteristics of a hummingbird, the hummingbird is the only flying creature that can move backwards, and if I'm not mistaken, go up and down. Okay, it doesn't just fly like um, straight forward, or you know, it has to do like a little turn or whatever. The current of the wind takes it. This thing is different. It's built different. You know, it's the smallest flying creature. Like I said, it's the only bird that can go fly backwards. The tongue that it comes out, it actually goes rapid. It when it goes inside, it wraps around its eye. Like there's a the way that the tongue is so long that when it goes back in, it don't just go like down. It goes around into somewhere inside the head, around the eye, if I'm not mistaken. Um, uh, and it weighs less than shit, what, like a nickel or a dime, something like that. They're not very dense, you know what I'm saying? They have to have, if I'm not mistaken, hollow bones in order to move the way they move, and move fast, and their heart rate is like 1,000 times more beats 1,000 times more than us, okay? But yet it's able to survive, to sustain itself. I think the lifespan of it is 3 to 5 years. But within that lifespan, man, it does a lot of things, man. It does a lot of stuff to help out the ecosystem, you know, here in the vegetational the vegetation, you know, passing its honey, you know, and things of that nature, and helping uh uh you know, certain growths within the vegetation. So this animal, man, it's a beautiful thing. So I want to go into a scripture here real quick. Um, it's in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, verse 1. Wisdom reacheth from one earth, or Salaki, wisdom reacheth from one end to another mightily, and sweetly doth she order all things. So as the story said that the condor said he's gonna reach the edge of heaven, but you know, of the earth, but then the hummingbird said, "Oh, I'm gonna uh, exceed that and go to the center of the heavens, right? The center of heaven." So he was gonna go further. So that's how wisdom is. Wisdom comes from where, man? Where does wisdom come from? It says wisdom comes from. Well, we already know from from the heavens, from the Most High. But I'm gonna bring it out. Sirach 1:1. All wisdom cometh from the Lord Yahweh, and is with Him forever. Okay, so that's where wisdom comes from. Comes from up top. I'm gonna jump down to verse 5. It says, "The word of the Most High is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments. To whom hath the root of wisdom been revealed, or who hath known her wise counsels? Unto whom hath the knowledge of wisdom been made manifest, and who hath understood her great experience? There is one wise and greatly to be feared, the Lord sitting upon his throne. He created her and saw her and numbered her and poured her out upon all his works. She is with all flesh according to his gift, and hath given her to them that love him." See, so it comes from up top. All right. So she was the only bird that could go to the center of heaven, which is wisdom, which is who? Yahweh Shai. Okay. So let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon 8:2. It says, "I loved her and sought her out from my youth. I desired to make her my spouse, and I was a lover of her beauty." and that she is conversing with the Most High. See, she's the only one that's conversing with the Most High. Okay, Yahweh says, she magnifieth her nobility, yea, the Lord of all things himself loved her, for she is privy to the mysteries of the knowledge of the Most High, and a lover of his works. If riches be possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? And if prudence work, who of all that is more cunning workman than she? And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtuous, for she teacheth temperance and prudence, justice, fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. If a man desire much experience, she knoweth things of old, and conjectureth aright what is to come. She knoweth the subtleties of speeches, and expound dark sentences. She foreseeth signs and wonders, and the events of seasons and times. Okay, so this hummingbird in this story was crafty, man. It supplanted this condor, which the spirit gives the ability to do that to his elect. You know, it gives them the same gift, the same abilities to do the same things. You know, if she dwells with him, delivering him out of certain situations that could be life threatening, or just whatever situation that could be bad, the spirit will deliver you. You know, make moves for you that you don't even know that is meant for your good. There's a lot of things that we don't understand that we're, you know, why we keep doing the same thing, or why we keep failing in the same thing, or why do we keep going back to the same person, or why we keep coming back to the same town, or why isn't it nothing working out? But then when danger comes or something bad happens and you're like, oh shit, I'm all right. You could have we could have and could you could have been in a worse situation. So that's how the spirit moves, man. You know, she's silent. She's not loud. She's not gonna make an obvious appearance. They're moving. They're making moves in the spirit realm, and that's how this hummingbird was. A hummingbird, took the challenge and did exactly what it knew it was gonna do. Some people are like, oh, it cheated. No, it outsmarted them, man. But it did exactly what it said it was gonna do. You know. So let me go back up a chapter. Wisdom of Solomon 7. In verse 22, it says, for wisdom, which is the worker of all things, taught me, for in her is an understanding spirit, holy, one only, manifold, subtile. See, she's full of subtlety, subtile, which is a subtile is to be crafty. All right. It says, lively, clear, undefiled, plain, not subject to hurt. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, let me see where. Okay. It says, uh, in verse Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 22, loving the thing that is good, quick, which cannot be letted, ready to do good, kind to man, steadfast, sure, free from care, having all power, overseeing all things, and going through all understanding, pure and most subtile spirits. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. It's like the hummingbird. The hummingbird is able to move backwards. It can go up and down. It's fast as hell, man. Like I think it can go up to 25 to 30 miles per hour, that the speed that little bird can go, man. That's wild. you know they're quick, and if you don't pay attention, they zip by, man. Like you don't ever see them. That's how fast they are. The only time you can really see them is when they're stationary, feeding from a tree, getting this nectar, its honey. um it says in verse Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 25, uh For she is the breath of the power of the Most High and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. So wisdom comes from up top. Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into her. Just like hummingbirds, there's a lot of, you can call it a, you know, superstition, or, you know, someone's own beliefs. But hummingbirds, man, they're, if a hummingbird come up to you, sit on your hand, sit on your shoulder, something, that's a sign that you're of some type of spirit, man. Like, you have a good spirit on you. Animals don't just come up to a lot of people. Animals feel the spirit, can feel the vibrations coming off people from other animals and stuff like that. You know, for a hummingbird to do something like that is an obvious sign of something, that your spirit is right. You know, uh, and any animal too. Any animal, lions. It don't matter. It don't have to be an animal that is not dangerous. It could be any type of animal to do that. You know, I'm sure, animals were stopped at the at Yahweh Shai, Shai, like in Daniel and the lion's den. The lion's mouths were put to us. They didn't open up towards Daniel, because it was a commandment. It was something that was done. The spirit, which we know through Habakkuk. But that's still the power of Yahweh Shai, Shai, man. Stop the mouths of lions and certain destructive creatures. You know, they have to obey, and even the spirits have to obey Yahweh Shai, Shai. So it says, Wisdom of Solomon 7:26. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, and the image of his goodness. And being but one, she can do all things, and remaining in herself, she maketh all things new. And in all ages, entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. For the Most High loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. For she is more beautiful than the sun, and above all other order, in all the order of stars, being compared with the light, she is found before it. Okay, so the hummingbird, it's a beautiful creature, man. It's a beautiful bird. It come in different varieties of different colors, bright colors, metallic colors. When I see a hummingbird, and you look at the pictures of a hummingbird, you know, what comes to my mind is like chariots, man. You know, different color chariots. The beauty of it. Look at them, man. You know, and there's all types of birds. You know, but the hummingbird is different. It's in its own little category, even though it's a bird, but you know, it's in its own little world, man. Its own little category. So yeah, man. Look at this one. Look at that. You know, look how long its beak is. You know, they're a beautiful. It's a beautiful bird, man. And there's a lot of things surrounding this bird when you do your little research. There's a lot of things surrounding it that are positive. This is Proverbs chapter 24:13. My son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb which is sweet to thy taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul. When thou hast found it, then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. Okay, so the honey, for the hummingbird is vital for its survival. Gives it the energy that it needs to continue to persevere. It's energetic. So it's the same thing with the word, man. You know, we fall into certain things in our life to where we are become like lethargic, you know, lazy, and it's because you're not really staying in tune with the spirit. You're not in tune with the spirit. You're not reading enough. You're not praying enough. You're not doing enough in the spirit. So your flesh becomes starts to take over. It's important. That's why people are amazed at the hummingbird, at how it's always busy, it's always going, it's always staying active, it's always doing it what its purpose is, what it was created to do. You don't find a hummingbird not doing nothing, unless it's resting, or what it's cold. Even these hummingbirds are able to survive in the cold, man. It's crazy. But then you got human beings out here, grown men, whatever, that are dying out here in this freeze that just recently happened. This is Sirach 24 and verse 19. Come unto me, all you that be desirous of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. For my memorial is sweeter than honey, and my inheritance than the honeycomb. Okay, so again, that is wisdom. So yeah, man, I just wanted to bring this out. Lord willing, it's edifying. You know, regarding the hummingbird and the connection with it through the scriptures. I know in the scriptures, going all the way back to Noah, he dealt with the dove, and then you go into the Gospels, and it goes as this Holy Spirit descending from the heavens as a dove. You know, but the hummingbird, man, has a great significance as well. You know, it's a it's, it, I don't think a lot of people are going to be amazed when they see a dove. I think you're going to be more amazed and surprised and happy seeing a hummingbird. You know, there's a lot of things that surrounding the hummingbird. Even going back to the indigenous people, who are Israelites on this side. Okay, the indigenous people from North America, South Central America. You know, who were already speaking about things that are closely related to the scriptures regarding the wisdom. So with that, I hope it was edifying. Till next time, Shalom.